Alright, today I'm going to attempt to do an oil change before this rain comes. Now, I like to do my oil change before winter because I do snow plowing and I like to have fresh oil in my engine before I snow plow. Now, the first thing you need to do is you need to identify what type of oil you need. Normally it says it on your oil cab. If you're running in extremely cold or extremely hot temperatures, I recommend you look in your owner's manual, and there may actually be a different weight requirement of oil that you need to use, but mine is just basic 5W20. What I run is Mobil 1 Extended Performance, and it is advanced full synthetic. I prefer synthetic. Synthetic is more expensive, but it's much better for your engine. You also need an oil filter. I always replace my oil filter whenever I do an oil change. I know Fram is not the best brand, but you know, this is what they had at the store at the time. I do change it every year, so it's not like it's going to get gummed up too much, but it's ultra synthetic filter, so it may be a little bit better than their basic brand. But you know, the more expensive filter you use, the more particles you filter out, the better for your engine. So we're going to deal with that today. You also need a basic socket set, and that's going to be to remove your drain plug. You're also going to need some type of oil filter wrench to remove your old filter, because normally that gets kind of tough to get on and off, or excuse me, it's kind of tough to get off rather. This is like the best oil filter wrench that I've used. It's a Duralast brand. I bought it at AutoZone with a full chain. I think it's like $20. That's really the best oil filter wrench. There's also this, which I forget if I had to use this on my truck because of the space requirements, but it's a good idea to, you know, carry a couple different oil filter wrenches. So one other thing that you do need, which I have over here, is you also need an oil pan. Now, an oil pan is simply what you see in front of you, and that just catches the oil. So we're going to put this under the truck now. And I also think I forgot to mention, you do want to carry a creeper unless you have some type of mechanic stand. And if you are a mechanic, then you don't really need to watch this video. So let's get under the truck and let's access that oil drain cap. Alright, so here we are sliding underneath the truck now. And here's what you're looking for. You're looking for, across from this front brace arm or whatever it's called, you'll see this pan right here, and you'll see a little bolt right here. Not your transmission pan. This pan is for your engine. And what you need to do, you need to get a socket. And what size socket was it? It is a 5/8, I believe. So you need to get a 5/8 inch socket. Let's see if I can put this down somewhere. Okay, I think you can see that. So at the top of the oil pan here, I'm going to remove this bolt. This is your drain bolt. Again, 5/8 inch. Make sure your pan's ready. Okay. So here we are, you can see the oil's draining. Good idea to wear gloves. Now it comes out like a spout after you take this out. Oh, there she is, all over the camera. Nice. And now she's just draining in the pan, so let me clean off my camera. Alright, so here's the new oil filter. The next thing I need to do is, after I've removed that drain plug and let that oil drain out, is I need to go up underneath here and I need to remove the old oil filter. And I mentioned before that normally they're on there pretty tight, so you do need to get some type of tool. And now the reason why I have this out is I'm just kind of want to halfway demonstrate on how some of these work. So what you do is you kind of match the contour of this removal tool to the actual filter, and then after you hook your chain on there for this one, and it kind of goes on there like that, And then as you pull this handle here in the direction that you need to spin it off, it pulls tension on this chain, therefore clamping this down on your filter, and that's how you get enough leverage to pull it off. Same idea with this chain one, except you can apply a lot more friction onto your old oil filter, and you know that one definitely makes it easier to get off. Again though, I don't think I have enough room to fit that in there, so I had to use this other one. Alright, now we're going under the truck to find the actual location of that oil filter, and it is actually right up in there. There's actually a kind of like a plastic guide for when you take that off, so the oil, I guess, comes down kind of in a neat array. But so yeah, I just got to reach up in there and somehow spin that off, and just got to be ready to catch the oil as well. You know what, you guys are actually in for a little treat, because my oil is a little bit warm right now. I'm actually able to spin this off by hand, which is a good thing. And I have the pan ready to catch. And after I unscrew this all the way, I'm going to take this filter. I'm going to keep it face up until I get it actually in the pan. And then from there, I'm going to flip it down in the pan, and I'm going to allow it to drain out. Okay. There's the filter. That's alright, it's in the pan. So, again, I'm just going to leave that down, and I'm going to allow everything to drain out. And now, we can get the new filter in there. Alright, so it turns out that Fram oil filter actually was not the right fit. I went on their website and I ensured that it would fit my truck, and it actually doesn't, so I had to run out to AutoZone to pick up a new filter. And of course, in the meantime, it rained. All my sockets got wet, which, you know, kind of sucks. No big deal though. Just got to dry them all off. Alright, so I just put a little bit of oil on that filter. Make sure I don't get any water in it. And now I'm going to attempt to screw this on here. There she is. Now all I gotta do is get two hands on her and give her a good crank down. I only do it hand tight, and then she should be good to go. Then we gotta put that drain plug back in, and then we can fill her up. Alright, so the last portion of this is very simple, but you know, everything else on this oil change has kind of gone wrong. The weather turned at me, I got the wrong filter, all my sockets got wet, I got oil on my camera, I'm covered in oil. You know, maybe you guys shouldn't take tips from me, because maybe I'm not the best at doing things neatly. Alright, so anyway, last portion is pretty self-explanatory. We're just going to add some oil. I'm pretty sure this truck takes somewhere around 1.5 gallons. So, let me see if I can get the shot here. I think we're going to be good right there. So I'm going to throw this first gallon in here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to check our dipstick to see how full our oil is, and the dipstick is right there in between the brake fluid reservoir. That's the power steering reservoir, so in between those two. We'll be right down in there. And if you've never checked oil before, it's incredibly simple. Reach down in here, pull this dipstick out. You want to have a cloth with you. And the first thing you want to do is you want to wipe it off. And then there should be 2 lines. And ideally you want your oil towards that high end line. On some of them there may be a cold and a hot fill. I always like to have mine just about at the tip of that, or at that higher hole there. So after you clean off the end of your stick, drop it down in and pull it back out. You can use your rag as kind of like a guide. Now we're going to look at it, and we can see that our oil is above that dot, so we're actually a little overfull, which I'd much rather be a little overfull than underfull. But one important thing that you do want to do is after you change your oil is you want to run the engine for a little while, because when you drain the oil, it's very possible to create some air pockets, and after running the engine, the oil will cycle and kind of go into all those little air pockets, and you actually may need to add oil again. So, but really that pretty much concludes this job. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this entertaining. Now I need to go and dry off my sockets and clean up this mess, but thanks for watching.